Thank you for joining us on Worldwide Slot Car Chat on Zoom, number whatever. I'm your host, Greg Gaub. Gang's all here. We got Petrucci, Luff, Tim. We're going to introduce him in a sec. John, Mike, Garth, Iceman, Jim, Dewan, Phil. Another John, will have introduced him soon. And Travis is here from Down Under. Dennis, Paul, and DC Orr. And we're going to talk about slot cars. So the first thing we're going to do is put our newbies on the spot and make them tell us all about their personal slot car history, however much of it they wish to share. Tim, I'm going to put you on that spot first. You want to go ahead and unmute yourself and tell us all about Tim's slot car self?
Well, pretty much the same story all you guys have. You know, I was a AFX kid, you know, early 70s. And kind of messed around with that until high school. Of course, then the girls come along and the track goes up in the attic and sits there and rots. Well, then I'd say when I started having my kids in the 90s, I broke that thing out of the attic, added to it, had a nice little 4-lane, about 150-foot AFX track, run that up until probably 98. And then, got bored of that, got put away, and basically it sat there until I've just had my first grandchild about 3 years ago. And my oldest son's bothering me, hey, you still got that track? And I'm like, yeah, it's out in the shed. So I broke that thing out and I'm looking at it, it's all there. Probably works great, but I thought to myself, hey, let's get on YouTube and see if there's any kind of new technology out there to add to this. And then I come across Carrera, and I was familiar with 132, 124 cars, but I'd never done it, you know. So I started looking into that, and kind of perplexed me how these guys are running all these cars on 2 lanes. So next thing you know, down the rabbit hole I went. Of course, the AFX is under my track. Never did put it back up, and started racing the Carrera. And then, of course, YouTube, I watched just about all your guys' videos, learning. Everybody here has been super helpful, but that's pretty much it. Got this Carrera track and building on it and see where it goes from here.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, and we'll have you show off your track or whatever you want to show off later. And
where are you located, Tim?
Yeah,
well, I'm in Milwaukee, Oregon, Dennis.
Milwaukee, Oregon. Not too far from me, but too far for just a quick jaunt over. Of course, the same goes the other way, but you're always welcome. Right. Lots of people in the Portland Metro, Oregon area. How far are you away from them? I forget.
I'm just a hop, skip, and a jump from Portland.
Okay, I forget where Milwaukee is in Portland. I'm
going to be Saturday. I'm going to go over with the Nasty guys and take a look at one of their wood tracks, analog. And, you know, I mean, I'm not opposed to it, you know.
I mean, you race where you can race. That's why I race with the analog club nearby.
Oh, man, if you think you were blown away by Carrera, just wait until you get onto a wood track.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah, he knows. All right, well, thanks for joining us, Tim, and we'll hear more from you later, I'm sure. John, it is your turn to talk about yourself.
Okay, hi, my name is John M., and I just started a new social media thing where I'm calling myself Slot Car Heaven 132. So that you'll find on Instagram, which is going really well, and YouTube, which is pretty dead, and Discord, which I will introduce you guys later. It's a social media site for us to hang out and have fun and chat and share. I had the AFX too. I remember getting this set on Christmas, going down, sneaking down and breaking it before my parents even woke up. I had those little clips. So it was a mess. But I don't know if you guys ever heard of Buzzerama. It's in Brooklyn. There's a famous movie. My dad's bar was three doors down. So yeah, my dad would take me in while he was building it, and he would send me over there. And it was amazing that, you know, I didn't do any of the big cars. I rented some time and I had the AFX, you know, but fast forward to 2000 and I get a magazine called Harrington, like a men's magazine, has like gloves and driving stuff, keychains and things like that. and in there are fly Ferrari, the classics flies. And I was like, what is that? I was like blown away. So I went out and found a Scalextric Le Mans set, and it was done from there. I went to the local place, spent $400, and I built a classic track in my basement, mostly as a combination of SCX and Scalextric Classic. And I later replaced that, which what I have now is Scalextric Sport. I'll show you pictures later. It's 4 lanes, about 85 feet. It's on a 20, we'll see it later. And I have a lot of cars, about 500 cars. About half of them are new in box, half of them are run and raced. I have raced in clubs. John and I talked about this, but sometimes the guys are too serious. Like I learned about, I was always happy to be halfway in the pack. Like that was my goal. I won a few, I have some ribbons, but I always wanted my car to look good. That was my thing. So that's what I do now. I do like try and make good looking cars and stuff. So you'll see. And I guess I could go into more later. I lost my train of thought, but I'm into it. I'm addicted like you guys. I love the worldwide slot car chat. I love John's stuff. Travis, I watch. So I think YouTube is great. And I was saying to John, everyone I've met is great. There's no trolling or meanness. Where do you find that online anymore? You don't.
Oh, I'll help you.
Oh, really?
No.
Are you getting trolled?
They're out there. They're out there.
Okay.
You tell these guys you like magnet racing.
They are fewer and farther between.
I am a non-magnet racer. When I had the magnets in, the cars would smash, and I had a box of parts. But when you go non-magnet, it's more realistic. You guys spoke to this, and you don't break them as bad. Hardly ever break them. So I love the non-magnet, and just about everything I build is no-magnet stuff. But I have some magnet cars. There's nothing wrong with that.
Are you still in the Brooklyn area?
I am in New Jersey. So the guys I race with, they're lucky. They're like 15 minutes, 20 minutes away. I was always an hour. So an hour back and forth, and then you're prepping your car. And then I just felt like I'd rather spend those 2 hours building something in my basement. I love building stuff. You'll see later. I love building TV movie cars.
Oh, cool.
So I've done 50.
So. All right. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, so I could be presenting with you guys for, every week for the rest of the year. I could do one a week.
Oh, you could break Wayne's 53-minute record.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to show it all today.
Okay, good. We got lots of people who probably want to show some things. We'll definitely do some show and tell with you and with Tim and whatever.
Let me shut up and you move on. Thank you. Nice to meet everybody.
No worries. It's all good.
Is Gaza here? Gaza
doesn't appear to be here today.
Okay. Because he joined some of you guys joined the Discord. John's, we'll talk about that later, but I like to meet everybody.
All right.
Hey, John.
Hey, and there's Neil.
This is Neil. Where are you in New Jersey?
I am in Flemington. Ringos, actually.
I just came back from there. I just picked up my truck at the Flemington Ford.
Oh, yeah, it's big for that. Where are you?
I'm in Bridgewater.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, not far away, man. We're like 20 minutes away.
All right, you coming over
last,
tomorrow?
we found someone for Neil.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. You know how close that is? That is on the way to Neil's. I could pick up some delicious food.
That's right.
And, and I used to teach at Bridgewater High School. I was a high school teacher, computer teacher. Yeah. So, yeah, I know that. That's great. You look really cool. I think we're going to have fun. I know another guy who's pretty close in White House.
Well, that's even closer.
Yeah, so we could get something going. All we need is 4 people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We just reformed the Jersey Boys. Awesome.
Yeah,
Exactly.
There's a big presence in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. They're really major racers. They go to Michigan and all those races, and I know them, and we could go there even, a couple of times.
That'd be great. Yeah, we gotta hook up.
If you do videotape your races, drinking game, everybody has to have a drink when someone says, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Oh, in New Jersey. No, we have a cannoli when we do that.
Cannoli. Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
Oh my God.
All right. So introductions out of the way. Let's go ahead and start our normal show and tell thing. So if you have something you want to show and or tell, raise your electronic hand if you can. Dennis is waving his real hand. Is this an urgent thing? Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, because if I don't say it now, I'm going to forget.
Okay.
John was talking about Buzzerama.
Yeah.
Now, the proprietor of Buzzerama, a fellow by the name of Buzz Perry, he passed away last year. And his son has been disposing of everything that's at Buzzerama. And the reason that I wanted to say this now is because this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, there is a everything must go sale at Buzzerama. And after that, there's nothing left. So anybody who's in that area who has any kind of interest in that old stuff, this is your chance.
Do you have to go there to get it?
Yeah.
Sure you do, yeah.
Oh, it's an
Yeah.
auction.
Yeah, it's an auction.
Well, if anyone looks at anything and really likes it, I would consider going. I wish we had more notice, but that's only like we come from Staten Island, my family, so I'm always in Staten Island. That's Buzzerama is 20, 30 minutes from there. So
Yeah.
if it's something
I
you
just
really
thought I just thought I'd let you guys on the East Coast know about that.
yeah,
Because it's it's the end of an era,
rare stuff.
Dennis,
end of a major era.
Dennis, does that include the tracks? Because he had some huge tracks.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened to the tracks,
probably
John.
what it
Some of
is.
the tracks have already been taken,
hmm
but whether there are any other tracks left now, I don't know.
Is there any kind of inventory that people can look at before
No, Frank, his son has been selling stuff on eBay
Yeah, it's been stuff on eBay.
for
I
probably
think
the
that's
last 6 months or so. And now it's a kind of a final sale, I guess. They want to clear out the
probably
place.
estate sale.
Yeah, probably whatever's left. Go if you think
Yep.
you might be interested in something, go and get whatever you might be interested in.
That's about all we can do. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I heard the basement was full of stuff.
Oh,
And one
geez.
guy told the story that he offered Busby $500 to be able just to go down there and look at it. He wouldn't take it. And I think that's the stuff that his son's been selling. There was a lot of inventory.
yeah,
I saw
yeah.
full cases of stuff.
Masses of HO stuff too, John.
Yeah. Nice stuff.
Yep.
Like you
All right.
said, the end of the era.
Yeah. But it happens.
Good information for those out there who are not aware of that. If you're in the area, go to Buzzerama this weekend and buy some stuff if you want the stuff.
Yep.
Now we're going to go and do show and tell. So as I was about to say, if you don't know where the electronic hand is, it's usually at the bottom of your computer screen. Tap on reactions, or if you're on a mobile device, tap the screen and then tap more, and then raise your electronic hand. That way I don't miss you. Otherwise, I'll try to catch you waving your real hand like I just did with Dennis, because he was so making sure that I saw it. Thank you, Dennis. And first with their electronic hand is Mr. Kit. Go ahead, John.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm actually if you can allow me to do two show and tells. The first one I'm going to do basically by proxy because Frank Peter Vandergoor, who was here last week, couldn't make this meeting, but he wanted to update you folks on his building that he's working on for his track, which is a building that's also on Silverstone. So I thought, hopefully you can see that. So of course, he showed last week how he does his bricks. If you look really closely here at the bottom, he's actually added, whoops, he's actually added moss to the corners. Of course, being in the UK, I imagine that's normal, I don't know. But the top floor he did using popsicle sticks and aging it, and then there's balsa on the side. Let me just get back to the next picture here. And there's the, he's done windows. He did the mortar work. So he just wanted us sort of to keep up to date with where he was on his project.
The mortar work is amazing.
Isn't
Really
that cool?
mortar.
Yeah, it's
Really
really
looks like
cool.
mortar. He must have, what do you call that? Scored it and then filled it.
Yep.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
Last week he showed us. Go ahead, John.
I was gonna say, and he paints each brick individually. It's just amazing. Just amazing. So let me just and then
And
there's one
that's progress since last week.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No,
Next week it's going to be done.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
oh,
that's a lot of progress.
it is. Oh boy, if only real buildings got built that quickly.
You know what it really is, Greg? It's progress if you live in Canada.
That's correct.
I love that, John.
That's funny. Hang on a minute. Oops, I can't get my window back here. Hang on a minute. Whoops. Here we go. Okay, now this is something that I think Greg would be interested in. And I guess you guys are aware of the 935 project. So I actually poured some rubber over the body. That's half poured. And then you get this big lump of rubber. And I did the first pull. However, Houston, we have a problem. I'm going to have to redo the mold, because what happens sometimes, and even though I sprayed release agent, there was some, well, as I described to my wife, leakage on the rear fenders here. Let me just give you a close up, and you can see how I'm not pleased with that. So I'm going to redo the mold.
Yeah.
But it works. But your car is almost done.
I mean, that still looks great, but yeah, I can see how you'd want to fix that. And
yeah, that's not, and I didn't realize, I mean, usually what happens is that just peels off, and I know I sprayed release agent, but sometimes the only thing silicone sticks to is silicone.
yeah.
And that thing's on there like white on rice. It just will not come off.
So that's the first resin pour, or that's, okay, so that's,
yeah, that's the first resin. Yeah.
so the master needs another spray of release agent and another pouring of silicone and everything.
Well, actually, I'm not even going to mess with it. I'm actually just going to redo the whole bloody thing, because the original popped out without a problem. So I'll just the great thing about silicone, by the way, folks, is like this big lump of rubber, you don't throw it away. You can actually cut it up and put it in the next mold for volume.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not a total loss. It's just and sometimes this happens, but
and that's basically, and so what exactly happened on the original molding? Some silicone stuck to the original body?
No, so you can see that it's two pores. So you can see this big lump. So let me go back to what I showed you before. This is the first pour.
Uh-huh.
So the first pour went very, very well. And that's this big lump of silicone here.
Uh-huh.
Then you spray release agent in the cavity, and you put the model back in and do the second pour for the interior.
Okay.
What happens sometimes is through, well, again, I guess it's almost capillary action and pressure that the silicone will actually press through gaps that you can't see, like for example here, and go into the first pour.
Okay. So where the body looks thinner when you zoomed in on that other picture is the actual body, and where it's thicker, it's where silicone had seeped in between the old mold during the second molding process.
Correct. And I suspect it actually leaked through my taping. That's where I think that's probably where it leaked over the fenders. And I guess because I do cast the silicone under a wee bit of pressure in a pressure pot, and I probably used too much pressure.
Yeah.
That's okay, no problem. Hey, it's just a little bit of a delay, but the nice thing to know is that it's not going to look that bad.
Plus, I'm in no ruch.
It looks
Thank
great.
goodness.
That's a lot of work. I know I've been watching you build this. It's great.
Oh, thank you. But the other parts are fine.
Do for somebody too, you know.
Sorry, say again.
Such a nice thing to do for somebody to share your passion and make something like that.
Oh gosh, yeah, and don't forget Dennis and Frank. Your 2G is also. I wanted to sort of experiment with Greg's first, because
Right.
just out of respect for the owner of the thing that we're doing right now.
I know you got a lot of donations for the elements to make it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice
Yeah,
team project.
Yeah.
Nice team project, actually.
Thank you, John, and thank you, John.
Greg,
looks like
Greg hasn't gotten a bill yet, but so
I've got the money.
That's like
Me too.
$2,000.
No worries. It'll be in Canadian. It'll be in Canadian dollars. You just pull the nickels out. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's
I got some. I might have a loony or two up here.
Yeah, there's a loony here, let me tell you.
Again, thank you, John. Looking forward to progress on that. And Neil has his virtual hand up. Go ahead, Neil.
All right, something really quick that I was working on. Let's see if I can share my screen. Oop.
Who's there?
Can you see it?
Yes, I see what looks like pipes between clamps.
Yeah, so this is my project. So I started to scratch build a brass chassis, as Dennis knows. And I have so much inventory of brass that, and I had them in a drawer, but it's just hard to see everything. So I just decided to make this particular item, and I made it out of 1¼ inch PVC, and I epoxied them together, and I ended up with that. And that's on my my workbench
For your inventory.
for my inventory, which is right there.
Very nice.
Okay, sorry, Neil, your workspace is way too neat.
Way too
That's-
neat. Way too neat.
A neat
I
desk
love,
is a
I love
sign
how
of
I
a
get my
sick mind.
supplies ready like that too.
Yeah, that's my workspace.
Looks really good.
Beautiful, beautiful.
But
That's
did your
why
wife get out there and clean it?
Nope. Not me.
That's really, really nice. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So just in case
Very
anybody wants
organized.
an idea, you know, if you're going to be scratch building, it's nice to have the stuff you can just look at it really quick and pick what you want.
I
That's a
like the
great
spray
idea.
booth is cool. The spray booth right there.
Yep.
And
Nice.
somebody
like-
rebuilt their kitchen at one point.
Yes.
No, I got them free. They were brand new. I got them from a person that belongs to the Knights of Columbus who does it for a living, and he was cleaning out his warehouse, and he didn't want them, so he gave them to me.
Cool.
Yeah, so I have them, and underneath my my slot car table, the upper cabinets like you see on top of the spray booth, I have
Right.
3 or 4 of those bolted underneath my table, so I have more storage
Perfect.
underneath.
This
But
is
yeah,
something out of Better Homes and Workshops.
Yeah, I know.
Really nice.
I
Is
would-
that a TV or a computer screen?
Both.
I think that's what
And
he's.
then I have-
That's what you're chatting to us on, right?
No, actually, right behind to the left, where you see those shelves up on the left.
Uh-huh.
I'm right behind there in my where my computer and screen is, and my
It's your driving sim, right?
yeah, my simulator. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember now.
Yeah,
well, I
I
would
sit in my
have-
simulator.
I would have that desk just absolutely covered with crap in about one day.
Right. It starts off like that, but how long before you pulled out every tool, everything of tape and glue and
Yep.
20
And then,
minutes? And it's
and
like,
then-
you
It
have
takes
to
like
keep
5
putting it
minutes.
back.
and then I never put it back until years later when I go, geez, this is a mess, and I need to
That's
finally
where I'm
put it
at
up.
right now.
Okay, but can I just point one thing out to everyone? That every label faces outward.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was his Martha Stewart shot for the magazine.
Yep.
Exactly. I still don't know where everything is.
That's nice with the Dremel like that. Nice.
Yeah, I have too much stuff.
And Knights of Columbus, I assume you are?
I am not, but
Okay.
I have family
My
members
dad
that.
was.
Yeah.
What
All
car
right.
is that? Is that a Thunderbird?
Where are you looking?
On your
right
bench.
in the middle there.
No, that's a Pontiac. Pontiac something. I can't remember. I can't remember what it is, but it's a Pontiac. A Catalina. It's a 60, 62 or 64 Pontiac Catalina.
So when you're working on one of these projects, like you're midway through, is it, do you clean up every night or do you kind of leave it until you're done?
Oh, hell no. I clean that up just for this picture because most of the time it's just covered with everything.
Okay,
All
so
right.
he's showing off a reality of his own design.
Well, at
Yeah,
least he's
I'd
honest
like to
about
say
it.
that it's always like this, but it's not.
Okay, now we know the truth.
It's a 62.
Oh, it's a
I don't
62,
see
yeah.
any dust, so you keep it dust free. That's nice. Mine is full of dust.
Oh, you
My
guys.
best.
All right. Thanks for showing that off, Neil. Did you have anything else?
That's it.
All right. Go ahead and stop that. And Dennis, you are next on my list. Go ahead.
Okay, new car.
All right. Let me spotlight you.
Another one in one of my repaints. It's the white kit of from Sideways, the McLaren 720S. Just with my regular blue and silver and pink. I didn't feel like trying to recreate a scale color because that's going to happen anyway. You know, everybody's going to have one of them. So I just did that. Nice looking car. I think it's going to work well. It's the same as most of the other Sideways GT3 cars, all the same mechanicals. I think the wing is going to be a little fragile. Those uprights are very fragile, and then the wing hangs below the uprights, so it's all pretty much. I think one's got to be have to be very careful of that. But other than that, looks really nice. I haven't had a chance to drive it yet, but it's looking good. So that's one of the things that I had, and then I wanted to just share
Samson
something.
Racing Special.
Yeah, one of mine.
Car.
And then I just want to share a screen. I hope, Greg, that I'm not stealing your thunder here, but
I have no
we were
thunder.
talking about these things the other day. All of the tire oiling machines and so on. So I came up with this little thing for a hoodie, which is just a little post with a piece of tube and two bearings and an axle that goes through it, screwed down onto the base of the hoodie, and then you can instead of advancing the tire that's being driven towards away from you towards the grinder, you bring it back towards you and run it up against the other against the other tire. Actually got a little bit of video. Let me see if I can get there.
I've created a monster.
Yep.
I mean,
You did, Jim. It's all your fault.
Yep, it's all Jim's fault. Let me see if I can get to the.
I mean, it's not like
There
we
we
haven't
go.
seen the technique being used for a while. I mean, I remember, I forget which machine it was that had something like that built in. Wasn't it like the NSR machine?
The NSR machine, yeah.
Yeah. But that looked like
Yeah,
a pretty
Jim.
straightforward addition to the hoodie.
It's just loading now. But I mean, you can imagine that it's turning. I've got a little blue circle turning right where the wheel is that should be turning.
Yep. Once it gets
Um,
going. And here it comes. Or not.
Oh God!
So Jim,
I live
Jim
in
is
Irvine. It's supposed to be the hub of technology in this country. We're supposed to have blazing fast internet and all this crap. It's a 10-second video.
I can tell you exactly why it's happening, but it's not really worth talking about. I would suggest, for just in general, probably the easiest thing to do to share video is just to pop it up on YouTube and then pop the link into the chat and then
Oh, there it goes.
check it.
Just as I stopped to share.
And then it ended, yeah. But we get the idea that the tire, the driven tire on the hoodie is counter-rotating the other tire, and you put oil in between. And
Yeah.
What is
That's
the
it.
issue, Greg? I know
So
we have
as
a lot
Jim
of-
says, he's created a monster.
Yep. Jim, you've caused me to have to spend money on more tires because I oiled some tires on cars that I use at ED and far out. And of course, far out, it's totally illegal. So now I
just got some new tires. I got the Scale Auto AS25s.
Ooh.
And
I was gonna say, any
I
testing?
mounted 2 sets. They feel really good. when you take them out of the package, they look like they're silicone. They're so shiny and properly round, or however you want to say it. They look just spectacular out of the package. Somebody mentioned that, can't remember his name from last week, mentioned that, but out of the package, I go, did I buy silicones by mistake? They're that shiny and that concentric.
Wow.
Wow.
And so I sanded a couple today, or trued them, and started oiling. I'm going to run them this weekend.
Be interesting to find out how they go.
You may see them in February.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
All right. All done, Dennis?
Yes, thank you.
Good deal. All right, Mr. Petrucci, we got you on the docket. Go for it.
Evening. Let's just show a few cars that I bought. That one there, Mr. Slot
yeah.
car, the Jag,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was nice. The Thunder Slot.
Very nice. Those are nice.
Scale Auto, Formula One.
Oh God, are they out in the UK already? I don't think they got here yet.
Sorry.
I don't think that they've got to the US yet.
Yeah, it's quite a nice car, actually.
Yeah, it looks good.
I'll take it.
Oh. Yeah, don't knock over your tower. I'm dropping stuff.
That's a good problem. If you have too many cars, you're knocking them over.
He's got a whole tower right there, I think.
Well, that's better than not having any. Or
That's
having
true.
one.
You can kind of see why NSR were a little,
Upset.
shall we say, had a little hissy fit.
Yeah.
Yep.
That looks a lot like an
Really?
NSR.
But then, of course, you know, they basically copied the all slot. So
Yeah.
What is that one?
Aluminium wheels front and back.
Oh, on the front too.
Nice.
Wow.
That's the Scale Auto one, right, Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they've got there are two versions. There's one with the droop nose like that, and then there's
got
the one
both
with the
of them.
high nose and the low wing.
I
Oh no,
bought
that
both
is
of
the
them.
high nose one. Oh yeah.
I bought the both, the low nose and the high nose.
Of course you did.
Okay.
You got to have them, haven't you?
Of course.
And that's that. I've got the 911
Hmm.
Porsche
Nice.
Scale Auto. And I've got the Gas Monkey.
Very nice.
Viper.
Somebody got a lot of Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
Top Slots had a little sale going on, so I bought this Spirit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think I
It's
have that one.
£20 for that one,
Yeah, those are the ones we ran in EMSA a few months ago. Great cars.
and £20 for that one.
Mm,
So I
Wow,
thought that
you
was a bargain.
Stole those.
very nice.
And that's all my Christmas presents I bought
Yeah.
myself.
Awesome. Talk about a windfall of cool slot cars.
Do you shop at Pendle Slot?
Sorry?
Do you shop at Pendle Slot?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they're great. I
I
get so
bought
many
this from
parts. from
Pendle
them.
Slots.
So good. Such a great company.
Yeah,
How
I
about-
think,
I'd use the two, Top Slots and Pendle Slots. Sometimes Top Slots are a bit cheaper than Pendle, so
Okay.
yeah,
Top slots and things.
I'd say when I order overseas, it's about half and half. Top slots or Pendles.
And we make out here because of the VAT. We don't pay the VAT.
I
And
usually pay less.
right.
Even with shipping, I pay
Yeah.
less than I
Yeah,
would.
even with shipping, yeah. It's
Yeah.
really good. And you can't compare the parts to any other place than what Pendle has. They have really unique stuff.
Yeah.
You'll see when I show my stuff how I use all their parts.
most of our model shops are all gone.
Yeah.
We
It's
used to have
true.
loads of
Yeah.
them years ago, but now
Yeah.
Shame.
Same here. All right. Thanks for sharing, Tony. And
it's
it
okay.
looks
Lovely.
like I'm thinking Mr. John M has some things he wants to share. Do you want to go ahead and do some show and tell, John?
Okay, I've never done this, so I'm going to hit screen share. And how am I doing this?
Lovely blue eyes.
Usually you want to open the thing you want to share first,
Okay, and then see it. Okay,
and then you'll see it. Then it'll be in the options to share.
I got you. Okay, thank you. So hopefully this will work.
Do you notice your picture's got two middle fingers sticking out, mate? Have you noticed that, the ghost?
Oh, what's that again?
Your ghost
The ghost is holding up.
picture is,
Oh,
yeah,
come
wouldn't
on,
notice that,
Travis.
Travis.
Gee, come on.
that's what it's doing, I promise.
I use gallery view, so I don't see. I use gallery view with the non-camera people turned off, so I'm not seeing it.
All right, so
I never noticed that until then,
Travis, I
Travis.
see it. I see it. That's why Pac-Man, that's what he's doing to Pac-Man as he's getting eaten.
Mate, every time I see it, I feel like I want to swear at him. What are you doing to me?
I'll
you
never
guys-
look at him the same.
Yeah, we're looking at your track now, John. That looks fantastic.
Okay. All right, so this is schematic. It's a 20-foot by 8-foot platform, and I use what's called data board, which is like a very high quality foam board, which has wood in very thin wood instead of paper, and it's very lightweight. They use it to make scenery. So there's 5 of those 4x8s, and it sits on top of like foldable tables, so it could really be taken down. But I basically use different track sections based on real tracks. The Suzuka Overpass, the Laguna Seca Corkscrew, the Monaco Grand Prix, the Monaco Grand Prix Hairpin, the Indy Bank, and then the Le Mans Porsche Curves, and then back to the Sonoma Hairpin. So now how do I move to the next one? Let's see. Do I have to open each one separately?
That depends on what program you use to open it.
I was trying to just use, what do you see now?
Still the track.
All right, let someone else do, and I'll play with it, I guess.
Sure. What I would suggest is open it in some kind of gallery program where you can slide through it, and then you can.
That's what I had planned, and I'll try and get it. Yeah, let someone else go. Sorry, guys.
Okay, no worries. You're not the first. You won't be the last to learn new things on live chat, and that's fine. Tim, did you want to show off anything, or all right? So maybe we'll see Tim's track on some other occasion. Tim, if you want to, you are welcome to put your YouTube channel or a link to a specific video in the Zoom chat, and I'll make sure to share that on the video on my YouTube in the description so people can go look at your channel and see your track in action. Tim has a really big Carrera digital track that's pretty cool, and he posts lots of videos on his YouTube. All right, so does anybody else have anything they want to show and or share? Otherwise, we'll move on to Club Corner. I don't see any. Okay, John's starting again. All right, now we're seeing the track for real.
Wow.
It looks so much better in real life. You might still be muted. Yeah, you're still muted, John.
That's an off track.
Very nice.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm mute.
Yeah, there you
All
go.
right, so yeah, it's got a lot of. I try to make it like a commercial track where it's got like long straights and then flowing curves, but it's got some technical stuff. But my idea was a lot of people come like friends. I didn't want to make it too hard where they can't race, you know. And then in the middle is hard to reach because it's 4x8. So your normal reach is about 3 foot. And in the middle, I made sure there's nothing that'll be needing marshals. Okay, can I get to the next one? All right, so I guess I just click down.
Oh,
That's
I'd come off in the middle.
Yeah, Frank will find a way.
Hey, there's Travis. Hey, Travis.
It looks like you can get to all the sides, right?
Yeah, so you have if you have 4 marshals, what the heck's on my track there? It looks like cocaine. What the heck is that? So that is this is the corkscrew.
Yep.
So it's tricky because it bends one way, then the other way. It bends exactly like the real track.
Nice.
That's the hairpin, the Monaco hairpin, which pretty much follows the Indy Bank curve and the Porsche S curves. And I'm going to have the nice Michelin sign. And then there's the bridge. And that's the Sonoma hairpin, which is like all blacktop, you know. Driver's station. So I use TrackMate with the TrackMate hardware. I made my own custom call buttons, and that's on like a Lazy Susan, so I could turn it around when people are racing. Here's the typical station. So you can see I use a thinner gator board. So I don't have power tools. I have all little tools. So this works out great for me. And everything is done with like plastic screws and hardware. And you can see this trimming piece I found for like white, what do you call that? The walls that you put up, the the walls. Yeah, so that's just some different hardware stuff. Now you see these three wires here. Can you see those? The white wires?
Yep.
Yeah, so those you put onto the three pieces, the spindles, whatever you want to call them, the power sources, and then you move it to another, you are automatically connected. There's boxes around the track. So if it was just like 3 or 4 guys, we could all sit in different corners of the track and race from the corners and marshal. So that's something I came up with. And let's see the next one. Here's a driver's station. As you can see, there's plenty of room, plenty of space. Little TV I did, and that blimp up there could show the track from the blimp. So it has an X10 camera, which is old technology. I could probably update it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I have very little scenery right now because people tend to break it when they race. They lean all over it, but this is like a little sign that spins around Lionel. Next to my track, I said I had 500 cars. I have a lot that I run, and I put them in these boxes, and then I just run them around. And I'm just going to show you 2 boxes. One is called Vintage, and inside there is all kinds of goodies I know you guys like, because I know you guys like the race cars more than the novelty cars. So all the different manufacturers, some really cool cars in there. I love these, all no magnet. The Nincos are fantastic to race. The other one that's interesting is this Ultra LMP, and in there are 12 LMP cars, my favorite kind of Le Mans car, and they're from every manufacturer. So this one is Scalextrics, and then SCX Pro, Fly Racing, Ninco, the Ninco high-end Lightning. This is an Avant slot. This is a Scale Auto. And then some of these I took, this is a Slotter. And then like Slotted had no, car to carry their parts. So I took some cars and made loaner cars. And then I was able to get all the major parts in there. And then you could see here, all the different, they have the pods, if I could find the pods, and really nice equipment in there, really, really nice. And they run really well. Here's in the Discord I showed, this is my Le Mans. So I like collecting too, Le Mans overall winners. So on the top are some extra ones, and there's duplicates of some, but here's the first leg, some really nice cars here. Slot classic cars are really rare and expensive and well made. Some Le Mans miniature. Of course, in this era, it's a lot of resin, right? There's not too many. There's a few here, Scalextric, Top Slot, Auto Art, but most of them are resin. Next one down is a lot of Slottets. These are the mid 80s and cars, the Matras, the Fords, the 60s, actually the starts in 66. Then the more modern cars. And in my Discord, I have a spreadsheet listing all the different cars that were made for Le Mans overall winners. One of the nicer cars I have, a racer, the 1965 winner, Ferrari Le Mans 250. Beautiful car, beautiful detail. All right, so now here's some of the novelty stuff. This is the best one I've ever done. The Munsters coach.
Wow.
So, yeah, wait till you see what I did. All right, so it looks really good, right? Look, you got Herman, you got Eddie, really took a lot of time. A lot of times I don't paint the cars because I ruin them. This one has the flat paint, the gloss paint. I went for it. But here's what I wanted to show you. This is the car. It's a 24 scale AMT model. I cut it down. You can see in 3 different ratios to get it down to 132 scale because I wanted it to be 132. Yep. So it worked out. It's definitely one of the nicer things I've done. Now, this is what makes it really interesting. It all comes apart with screws, nylon screws, brass screws, magnets like this. This stack goes on top of there as a magnet. So, it's almost like a Corgi car or something. And here I did something really different. I started using decals to make face. Like I can't paint that, right? So it looks good. I mean, you're really seeing it up close, but you know, from afar, it looks really good. And then the chassis is a regular chassis, Slot Classic, right? That great company. And then I took the model part and I fed that into there, screwed it in, and got a really rare slotted motor. And you can see how the motor screws in. And this is something I wish I could find. Maybe you guys could help. 14 karat gold braid. I bought 5 sets of it, and it's so durable and so great. So that's something. Here's a car with sound. Adam 12. Am I going too long?
No, keep going.
Okay. Adam 12. This is something I really wanted to make, right? Because we know, Greg and myself know that our police cars don't go wah, 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 wah. So, you know, so they don't have a proper police car for America, you know?
Not yet. We're still waiting on that one.
Yeah, well, here it is. So I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but this has a sound chip in it, and it plays 5 or 6 sounds. So can you hear that?
Yep. A little bit quiet.
Okay, so that's the theme song. I don't know where my mic is.
Probably at the camera.
So it's got the proper federal, you know, siren, the exact siren it should have. Both delp and well.
Yay! Such a beautiful sound.
So let me turn that off.
What was the weight of the monster car?
Say it again.
What was the weight of your monsters car?
The monsters, like the grams, you mean?
Yes, yes.
I don't know. I could weigh it. I don't know. It runs really well though.
Okay.
Like everything I do, it has to run well, and it has to hold up as a car on a track, right? Because that makes it hard what we do. Because, you know, guys who make models, they don't touch them after they make them. So we're touching them. All these parts have to really hold together and stuff. So I make sure that they're viable as slot cars and they run well. There's just some more pictures of this. The hard part of this car is the front lights are red, the back lights are yellow. So I had to make lenses. And what's weird about this car in real life is the front red is permanent and the back one's blank. It's like, why would a police car do that? If someone's coming up behind you, wouldn't you want that to blink? But that's the real way it should be. So, and then in there are the 2 Starsky and Hutch drivers I use. So the key thing for me always is getting the right figures, right? Like Herman Munster, these guys, you know. And then I did my own decals, and you can see these. They're called coffee cans, and I made them out of aluminum and aluminum rod and styrene rod. And here's what it looks like underneath. So the board fit in there. It has a LiPo battery, and it comes with a speaker. And you know, I'm going to give the Discord link later. You guys, I'll put all the information of what the board is. It's only $19, and the wiring I use, because to fit all this is a Scalextric car that I just painted, and there's a lot of wiring. So you can see the switch up here. That's the overall power switch. There's a USB port to charge it, and then this button here. Can you see when I go around with my mouse? Is that visible?
Yep, we can see.
Okay. That button here is to go cycle through the sounds, and this button does the lights. So I've found some really good wire I'd like to tell you guys about. A couple more. Batmobile, 1989. You know, just it says here 132. Whoop, let's see, it jumped ahead. 132, a show model converted to a slot car using NSR high performance parts. That's what makes this car cool. Wow. It has 5 LED lights and 2 pop-up machine guns. If I could have got the parts, I would have made more of these. Here's something I do too that's pretty unique is I take a 10 millimeter LED and a Dremel, and I make this working light that's shaped like a flame and stuff. I don't have yeah.
We gotta talk. We gotta talk.
Yeah, I can make those if anybody needs. Very easy. You know, and, like just send them out. The only thing is I'll get like cancer if I make too many of them from inhaling the dust.
Let them make their own.
Yeah, no, it's whatever. I could just give the parts all this. That's why the Discord is good. And of course, we want to do stuff through here. So here you can see I use magnets a lot. So these two machine guns pop up by the magnets, you know, how they repel each other. So when the covers come off, these pop up. And then, of course, the canopy was held on by a magnet. And then always important, well, here's the bottom. Here's the NSR part. You can't find these wheels. They're Vanquish. They made Vanquish wheels way back in the day. Yeah. And look how beautiful they fit in there. It's perfect. Or, you know, NSR motor, which is smooth as silk. Nice NSR gear. I usually match the gear to the color of the car if I can. I'm weird like that. And you can see how it screws together. All these screws and stuff. There was
John, they're so it's so nicely finished.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. So this one I don't paint. If I don't have to paint it, I don't, because it's a great chance of ruining it, right?
That's me.
So I had to paint like some things, and it's like no, I'm getting good. I'm getting good.
There you go.
I'm getting better. I'm not getting good. All right, so
practice makes less bad.
Yeah. Oh my God. Here's the thing. I'm a perfectionist. So if there's like a little hair drops in it, I try to fix it and I ruin it. I have a list of models I've actually ruined because then I was trying to strip the paint. It's a nightmare, right? And then how many hours?
Right.
But like some of these models, I'm going to show you this dune buggy was $80. I can't ruin that. I can't even get another one.
Yeah, don't.
So now I told you about Slot Car Heaven. And that's my Instagram and my Discord. So I'm making pictures now. And here's what's in my office, on my table to photograph. And I'm showing you the Adam 12, the Munsters, the Batmobile. I will show another day the Dune buggies. Those came out very well with Tamiya paint. The Ecto one, which has sound and lights too, and then the Monkeys Mobile. But I do want to show you guys. I'm almost done. The hot rods. I love making these. They're all 132. Like this first one isn't painted. It's a tribute to Ed, Big Daddy Roth.
Yep.
This one is a tribute to Van Dutch, if you know who he is. Yeah. Two Rad Finks. This is one of those Japanese models. What is that called? The Nomad. The Woody. I love this. This is an Aurora model. A little rare, but not too rare. So then these are really tricky. These two I made is the Paddy Wagon and the Red Baron in 132. So you could buy those models in 124 and make it, but I wanted 132.
Yeah.
So here's a close-up. You can see, if you know what Ed Roth looks like, that's what he looks like a little bit. And what I'm using here are heads from something called Jack's Pacific's Micro Wrestlers. Yep. So sometimes I'll use the head, sometimes I'll use the body, and that's what that is. Here is another Jack's drive. It sort of looks like a greaser. This guy, so that's like I said, it's always important to figure for me. This guy called Spicoli, you know, he looks like Spicoli a little bit. I got a policeman driving so there's a great view of the paddy wagon. So that, you know, these are unique. There's no other ones really around. This one is something you could buy. The paddy wagon was a lot of work. This is something you could buy, and he has a great figure in there, like another wrestling figure. And then the two Ratfinks, and there's the Van Dutch up close. And then just to flip them over, you can see I use all kinds of methods. Sometimes I use like a slot classic chassis like here. Sometimes I'm using a lot now for these Ninco go-kart motors, but I can't get them all the time, so I've been using HO motors. They all have the slotted gears. This is a ProTrack fiberglass chassis. And what else? Yeah, this one has the slim motor built into the model, and this one has a motor pod built in. So, you know, and I always try and do it nice and neat with screws, magnets, you know, hardly any glue. Last two are just, this is it. The last two Carrera cars I modified. This first one I call Fonzie's hot rod, and I added Pinky Tuscadero. I cut it, right? It didn't have, the original one is a roof, put a
Hard
roll
top.
bar, and then I put this girl in the back. I cut it really slowly with a knife, score. Only made one little goof to get this opening, and then I used a little foam and made a rumble seat, which I don't think I've seen. I love this kind of stuff when I was a kid, the Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
And then this is another beautiful Carrera car. And what I did with this is I made it a wheelie car. So I really wanted to see if I could figure that out. So it's like a lead sled and it works. So it pops up and it works really well. I'll take videos and that's what it looks like underneath. And that's it.
Very
Sorry, it took
cool. No, thanks. That's a lot of really cool stuff. I guarantee people are going to be pausing and rewinding and pausing.
So I'll show the Discord real quick right now. You know what? Let someone else go, and then I'll show that so people can come and ask questions and stuff. And
can you share the link to that Discord in the chat here? So
I was going to say, put the link into the chat. That way you don't have to just show the page. People can actually go to the Discord and check it out.
Okay.
John, you're quickly becoming my idol.
All right. And I'm sure we'll come back to more from John. And Mr. Sisto, he's got his hand up. What you want to share today, Frank?
I don't know if I could follow John.
Nobody can follow that.
Jeez.
Sorry.
Well, I just found out yesterday that we can use a Fly Lola B9810 at Electric Dreams in the LMP Pro class. So I was looking at the Ferrari from Revo Slot and how they do magnets. And I thought, how could I do this rear wing with magnets? So that magnet holds the wing on, but also helps keep it to the track.
Ooh, double trouble.
That's nice. That's what I like to do too. You can't have that thing, it'll snap off in a race.
Oh, yeah. And the rule is if the wing comes off and you complete a lap without the wing, you lose the lap.
Oh, wow.
So this way they just pick up the wing. Well, I never crash, but
no, of course.
The wing and just throw it back in.
I'll tell you, Frank, that's a really fragile car.
Yes, it is.
It's very, I don't think there's one more fragile than that.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
mine
just
is
what I wanted to show.
Yeah, very nice.
All right. Thanks, Frank. Much appreciated. And let me go back.
Does that class allow traction magnets?
Yes. As many,
as many as you want.
yeah, it's totally open class.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Wheels, tires, gears, magnets.
That's the class that
Ball
Bob was
bearings.
going to sell motors for. Yeah.
That's the one I made the 12 cars for. That's exactly, they're all upper end stuff. If it's open, it's great.
Yep.
Only 3,000 miles away, though, fortunately. I love that stuff. I'll tell you, that's a great.
Come on down.
Great store, though. Electric Dreams, really, you know, our equivalent to Pendle.
Yeah, probably good equivalency there. Yeah. Thanks for showing that, Frank. And it looks like we're done with show and tell for the moment. Let's do Club Corner for a bit. Does anybody have anything they want to show and or share for Club Corner? Something that just happened, something that is going to happen. We finally finished our Pioneer Legends racing at the for EMSA, and my car did not lose traction nearly as bad as before, so I'm pretty much never going to treat those tires again. Don't know what they're made of. Don't care anymore. But now we're moving on to Thunder Slot, and it's going to be a night day.
Signing off. Happy New Year to everyone.
All right,
See you
thanks,
next
Tony.
week.
Happy New Year.
Hey,
See you
Tony.
next time.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Night.
Year.
Next series we're racing is Thunder Slot, so it's going to be an absolute night and day difference between the Pioneer cars, who were so short and small and terrible traction because we're running no magnets, no brakes at all on those cars, to Thunder Slots, which will start on a dime and stop on a dime. So
What are your rules going to be, Greg?
for the Thunder Slot,
Uh-huh.
generally our rules are basically box stock, no traction magnets,
Good.
And that's pretty much it. So that's pretty much the rule. Sometimes we allow a little bit of ballast, but not when there's ballast allowed. It's usually only no more than 10 grams. And sometimes it's allowed in one piece, or sometimes you can do it in multiple pieces. I forget what it is this time around. Half the time we allow ballast just because some cars are so light that they're underweight.
Oh, yeah.
So we usually have a weight minimum based on the magless weight of the smallest car of a given series of cars. And then you can't add more ballast than the allowable ballast. So and we usually have a magnetic downforce limit to reduce cheater motors, prevent cheater motors and people trying to get downforce out of the motor. So
I was
that's
just going to ask, so you can change the motors and gears?
No, but sometimes people will cherry pick or do things to their motors that shouldn't be done in the first place. So basically,
nobody does that.
No, nobody ever does those things. But as long as you basically take the car out of the box, take the magnet out of the car, you can, because it's Thunder Slot, they already come with good tires, true and glue the tires, you're ready to run. And if your car needs ballast, then you can toss a little ballast in there.
And if it's Thunder Slot, you don't even have to take the magnet out because they don't have one. There
you go. I forgot that because I never bothered looking or doing that. But yeah, so it's gonna be a straightforward thing, except for me the challenge is gonna be truing the tires, because those are super soft tires, and super soft tires are a challenge for me on any machine, I'm sure. But I only have a tire razor, so I'm gonna try Dennis's recommendation that he gave us for Revo Slot tires, which is to dip it in, crank it down, let it up and pull down, and do that repeatedly. So,
I've done you can use flour as well. If you put flour on the tire, it makes it easier to
but that's treatment.
We do use at this point in our club, we've got
the rubber binding up.
We've gotten to the point in our club that since most tire treatments are basically undetectable, that we don't try to govern tire treatment. If you treat your tires such that you're gaining more grip than the other guys are, then they're probably going to fall apart on you. But basically, guys are using NSR tire oil or the Scale Auto tire, the naphtha and various other things to get more traction out of tires.
Well, if I can speak on that real quick, I had oiled tires on a Revo Marcos anticipating racing at Electric Dreams this month. And then Stephen Jones, with the Far Out Club, came out and said, if you treat your tires, you're banned from the club forever. So I said, I can't use these. So today I took my Marcos with the treated tires, put it on my little track, and then I took those off, and I have a Ferrari 333, which the tires are a little bit wider, but they aren't treated. The Marcos was a second slower than with the treated tires. And so that oil really, really works well.
And
use it far out, have to wait for Electric Dreams.
How's he going to police that?
If your car is out there and doing laps much more faster than anybody else, he's going to be able to tell. You can actually touch them too and see that the stock tire is a little firmer than with the oil, and sticky as well. But again, it's on an honor system, so somebody else would probably have to complain about it and prove it.
Yeah, and that's probably why we pretty much gave up on trying to prevent
exactly.
So,
but you know what? I've been at Far Out for 6 years now, 7 years, and I've never seen anybody challenge anybody.
Yeah,
but he has a good time.
Frank, you just need to run your FAR car at Electric Dreams and just happen to pick up some residue from the oil that's already on the track.
There you go. Sorry, Steven, I don't know where it came from.
I thought I heard somebody say my name a second ago.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm interested in what Paul was saying about using flour.
Yeah, go ahead and tell us more about that, Paul.
You only use the flour when you're truing the tires, right? It stops the soft tires from binding up you get the lumps of rubber coming off.
Mm-hmm.
So you use the flour, just rub it a little bit onto the tire, and it makes truing it a lot easier.
Really?
Oh, wow. And do you have to do it more
The
than
flour
once?
sticks to the rubber.
No, because everything's dry. Right?
No, what I
So-
mean, the rubber that as it heats up will adhere to the flour then, is that correct?
No, because the flour stops it actually heating up, and you know how
Oh,
when you go too hard and too quick on truing a tire, the flour softens it.
I guess if you really wanted to go through something, could you use whole wheat?
It depends how many of you are vegans.
It's only for vegetarians.
Talk about sowing discord amongst people.
What were you going to ask him?
Tires.
Dennis, you were going to ask him something.
No, I was just interested in the process. And so do you basically just use your finger and rub it on, or you use a little
Yes.
paintbrush, or?
No, just a bit of finger, right?
Okay.
Or just sprinkle a bit of flour onto it.
I will definitely try that. Thank you.
Yeah, me too.
And then in the oven at 350 for 12 minutes.
Yeah. And then you
All right,
have
enough with the baking jokes.
Yeah, but they're
A
no
little
longer.
wine with spice.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for
No
that.
wilting flowers
excellent.
here.
Yeah. Learn something every
Doesn't
day.
Stephen
Can't
Farjones
all
have
speak at once. What were you going to say, Jim?
isn't there a rule at Far Out for gluten-free tires?
All right. Anybody else want to do a flower joke? Go ahead and get those flower jokes out. Now's the time for the flower.
Oh,
If you
Roses.
spin them, they're flower power.
Roses or petunias? All right. I think we're done with the baking.
move
flower
on,
jokes.
move on.
We're still on Club Corner. Does anybody else have any club-related things they want to talk about, past and or future? There you go, Jim. Go ahead.
This is just a question for you, Greg. If you're doing the Thunder Slot, I've always wanted to kind of do a proxy event, but I don't want my car to be gone for 6 months or a year.
Okay.
And if you're interested, I would love to send you one of my cars to run up there.
Sure. Yeah, we usually have one or two people. There's usually an opportunity for a person to borrow a car at least every other week. So I could do that, or I could just, let the guys, because our rules are that you can't change your car without losing points. So if I can't just like race your car in place of mine,
Okay.
I can still get my points. But
Could be a loaner car for somebody.
Yeah, it'd be a loaner car for somebody at one of our events. There's usually, like I said, every other week there's almost somebody needing to borrow a car for whatever reason.
Okay, I'll text you on Facebook and find out when the races are and send you a car up.
Sounds good.
Could
Love
use
to-
the same car. As if you both have the same car, nobody'd know the difference.
That's true. I forget which model mine is. It's the light blue and yellow one.
Maybe somebody who has initiative could do like a worldwide slot car chat proxy for
Proxy,
just the people the people that come in on that day are all that want to do it.
Or we
And
could do it
then
with-
you
or
can
we-
live stream
All right, Jeremy.
proxy race.
You are.
No, not me. I got no time.
Jeremy, what if
I
we
got
did that
two
with the
kids.
935 bodies? People make their own cars and proxy.
Something if we could something cheap. I would do that. That'd be fun.
I know how complicated proxies are to run, so no, thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
No nose goes. Not gonna be me, that's for sure. All right,
No, I'm
Mike,
running one at the moment. No problems.
you've got your hand up.
I'm
Mike.
running the touring car proxy.
What was that, Paul?
I'm running the touring car proxy. So I've got 24 cars, slowly working our way through the races.
So you're the kind of guy who runs a
Have a lot of
proxy.
Yeah.
It takes all kinds, doesn't it?
Exactly. Some of us are crazier than others.
Exactly.
Oh, guaranteed.
You have to find some sucker who's never done it before.
There you go.
Trick them into
Or
it.
or somebody who has done it and actually enjoys the process of
Dennis?
receiving
Dennis?
cars and tracking everything and mailing them back and
No, I don't mind. I mean,
doing-
you learn so much because you've got 24 cars to race.
oh sure, I didn't say
Yeah, well,
participating in a proxy isn't fun. I said organizing the proxy isn't fun. I love participating as a driver because
Yeah.
I love driving other people's cars.
Well, I'm running Slot Car Illustrated, the touring car proxy. And you learn so much from other people, what they've built, and just how they've built it. And when you see something that obviously is much quicker, and you work out, okay, what's the story with that? And then you incorporate that in your own cars.
All right, so you and Jeremy get together and figure out the worldwide the chat proxy, how that's going to.
I'm breaking up. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Maybe not. Maybe some other time. Let's move on. Mike's got his virtual hand up. What you want to talk about, Mike?
Well, we tried my new version of my track from Greg's recommendation on Monday, and everybody loved it. So it was a worthwhile endeavor, although it took the better part of 4 days, believe it or not, to try to get something works, because the diagram does not show the borders on, so that meant major portions had to be changed.
Yeah, I haven't gotten around to that part yet.
Yeah. So, but it worked out really nicely for the most part. It was real enjoyable, and both of the guys said it was more fun, especially with magless cars.
You don't happen to have pictures of that new track, do you?
Well, I could show it if you want, but
I mean,
that's up to you.
I want to see it, of course.
All right. And forgive the mess.
Make sure to uncover.
We can't all be Neil, okay? It's okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. This is from the far end.
Yep.
And then you can see the new corner that's come into the carousel. That would be this one right here.
Ah, yeah.
And this one is the one that everybody has trouble with.
Now?
Yes, now. You see, I changed the lane changer back to the position, because when you have it down at the end just before the corner, it was a sure crash on both lanes.
Because nobody's slowing down?
Yeah, basically. And you can make the lane change up here just a short bit closer. It really worked out better that way. But you can see there's more R4s there. And then these are R3s instead of R4s, but it works really well.
Yeah, nice and smooth.
Yeah, it looks really nice. This part, the section through here, has remained the same with all of its foibles.
Yep. That one was still a fun section. That section actually didn't bother me very much. I almost left it as is. I think I did more or less leave it pretty much as is.
Pretty much, yeah. I think you sort of had a hook at the top right there.
Yeah.
And it came down a little steeper towards it, but not much. But out of the far corner on the carousel there, the entrance was very much little problem for that section. It was really, really nice, a lot better.
Yeah.
So yeah, it worked out well.
Did you change the other end of the track at all?
Pardon me?
Did you change the other end at all?
Yeah. Oh, didn't show you that, come to think of it. Now, you had it split, and I didn't have enough. You instead of having one long straight as there, you had two half straights to put it in the middle. But this works out really well. It makes this corner a lot slower and harder to get through, but it eliminated a lot of the problems in this corner.
Yeah.
So that worked out well, and I probably will leave that because I like that. Yeah. So yeah, and I think though that this is R3s or an R3 and an R4. I think
that's an R3 and an R2.
And you're right. It's an
or an R3 and an R2.
It's an R3 and R2. Yes. That I think I can change to the R4s when I get them. And that will probably help a little bit at that point, because that's been another more difficult part.
I mean, the guys are having to relearn the track, you know? They can't drive it
Oh,
like
yeah.
they used to. They're having to relearn everything.
Yeah, well, they adapt fairly quickly. They're still
Yeah.
pretty good racers, so
Yeah.
it's not much of a problem there. So, yeah, but I like it, and I just. Oh, and I also on the other track, I took
Open
out
that
that sharp.
No
that
more
sharp
hairpin. Yeah.
Yep. So the rest of it's pretty much the same. In fact, it was all the same. So you can see all the way there.
What are your
Pardon me?
table dimensions?
Huge.
What do you call the scenery style?
The mess.
Modern practical.
Yeah.
Modern minimalist.
Modern work in progress.
Yeah.
I do have to buy a grandstand though. My stepdaughter gave me a gift certificate so I can get a grandstand for over in one of them. So it will happen eventually.
Awesome. Thanks for showing that off, Mike. Appreciate it.
What is your track length and end up being, as well as the dimensions of the table?
Track length as far as what?
So what was your track length and what's the dimensions of the table?
Oh God. The Road America West, which is the first one I showed, it's 16 by, it's an L shape kind of, but 16 by 6 plus on the one side. Okay, but the basic table is 16 by 6 with about a 1.5 foot addition on the one side to make an L. And the other one is 18.5 feet, I think, if I remember correctly, by another 6. So
Yeah, and you wrote down the lap links when we were going over
yes,
it.
I did. I will try and access that.
I remember it was like 82 or 83 on the
82. Hang on, it's in the back. I will find it and let you know later.
Okay.
I know it's in here.
I can always bring up the track power and go over the details
That's
of
true.
those as well.
True.
All right, did anybody else have any club corner they want to talk about, or should we just move on to just open question period or anything else anybody wants to talk? Go ahead, Dennis.
I've got an old photograph that came to me the other day talking about old clubs. Let me share my screen. Can you see this?
There it is.
Okay, This shot was taken around about 1992, I think, and it was a track that I've talked to you about before. That was run on in South Africa for many years. I remember first running on it in 1969, and it carried on through right into the 1990s in various different locations and various guises. But it was just a real nice old shot that came to me the other day. The other one that came along with it was this one, which was a much younger Dennis in the background there, which I couldn't remember actually. I remember looking like that, but I certainly don't remember the time. And this is a friend of mine, Gustav, and this is 30 years back, so we're all a little bigger and grayer than that now. But yeah, the track itself was a real fun track to run. These little S's here, and then you had this short shoot of the straight and another set of S's before a hairpin that came back under the bridge. And at the bottom end of the track where these guys are standing, there was a right-hander with a little bit of a kink, and then it went into 2 complete sets of long S's that wound almost right across the track and back again the other way before coming up the bridge. Really difficult track. Major home track advantage on that one.
How long was it, Dennis?
Probably about 85 or 90 feet, I would think. Somewhere around there. Fun to drive. anyway, just these are the photo here is actually a screenshot from a video that one of the guys found when he was looking through all sorts of old. He was converting all his old VHS videos onto into some sort of electronic format, and he found this piece. So he took a couple of screenshots. This guy standing here on the right-hand side is the guy who's built probably all of the really nice slot car tracks that I've shown you guys that are now exist in South Africa. And he did most of the work on well, he didn't do the work on this. He did some of the work on the restoration, but he did a lot of work on the clubhouse, on the room itself where it was standing in those days. We had two separate slot car clubs in the same building at one point. It was an old clubhouse of a sports center that was defunct, and one club had a big room on one side of the building, and we had a big room on the other side of the building. And we had two completely separate clubs running on two completely separate tracks in the same building for about maybe 2 years, 3 years. It was quite interesting.
Love the history.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks for sharing, Dennis. And so we'll just open the floor if you want to ask a question, circle back on a topic, get opinions on something that you're working on, show and tell, asking question, chit chat, talk about things. Mike's got his virtual hand up. Again, raise your virtual hand. That way I make sure not to miss you completely. Mike put his virtual hand back down. All right. Okay, you'll show something later, but you're muted right now, so I can't hear what you're saying.
Sorry, I thought it was on.
Okay.
I have a question for Dennis before he goes away. Dennis, you see this car?
So the NSR or skill?
Yeah, it's an NSR.
Dennis is
It
muted.
now has a Thunderslot motor in it, but I cannot get this car to handle magless at all on Scalextric's track. And I want to try and get some parity with my Thunderslots. And it's about a half a second slower. And nothing I do fixes it. They're all on the same tires. They've got, this one came with suspension. As you can see, I chopped out to try and make the chassis more flexible. You can see where I chopped off that portion there.
Yep. Chopped off the drop arm. Yeah.
Yeah, the drop arm part of it. But
so you say same tires, same gear ratio?
Yes.
Same tires, same gear ratio.
Same motor?
Same motor. The difference between that car and the Thunderslots is going to then be in dimensions and in height, particularly. I don't know.
I'm putting it against a sideways Ford GTE and a Lamborghini Huracan sideways.
Yeah, and you still can't.
I said Thunderslots and I meant sideways. Sorry.
Oh.
Weight is 86 grams. I do have a little weight towards the front. I've been experimenting with trying to measure the fore and aft weight distribution, and it seems that most of the good cars that I have 39/61 front rear weight distribution.
How much weight have you got in the pod?
It's towards the front, and it's not very much. There's more towards the front axle than there is anything there. But the problem is it seems to hop out of the slot at the front more than anything else.
Well, then it's getting too much traction.
Yeah.
So then you need to put the weight at the back of the car.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just about to say, remember my NSR quandary, and putting the weight in the back actually helped the car be less chattery and less deslotting.
No, I didn't.
Or try some zero grip tires on the front as well.
No, I've got zero grip on the front. They're coated.
Yeah.
So that's
Assume the
not an
motor's
issue.
screwed in?
Yes.
What were the other two? The other two cars were sideways?
Yeah, sideways Lamborghini Huracan, which is generally stock out of the box and it just flies. And the Ford GT, GTE, the newer one.
All right, but now both of those cars have the long can motors in them, right?
Flat six?
Yes.
Flat six?
Well, they're not flat sixes, they're FK 180s, but it's that orange colored one that they use,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
basically a 17,000 RPM motor.
Right.
So they're very easy to drive. And if the Porsche is coming out nose first, then it just means it has too much traction or too much rear grip. So you need to put some weight at the back so that the back end of the car will slide.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do have a another pod coming for it with the angle winder version of it. I may, so then there'll be parity on motors because I'll get the sideways motor with it.
All right,
So
well, then that'll be interesting to see how that then does, because
Yeah.
I mean, even still, I would think that both the GTE and the Huracan are lower than that Porsche when they stand on the track.
I can look.
What were you going to say, Jim?
And they've got a lot more magnetic downforce because of the long can.
Oh yeah, that as well.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
forgot
That could
about
be a
that.
huge
Yeah,
difference.
of course.
That could be a huge difference.
That could be a major difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you had already put the same motor as the sideways into the NSR.
You're right. It could be just height.
Well, and as Jim said, you were away from your desk. As Jim said, the sideways motors are going to give you much more downforce, magnetic downforce on the track than the Thunderslot motor. So when you change it over, let us know what happened.
Oh, you'll find out by next week. I was
All right.
supposed to get the stuff today and I was going to do it as we spoke, but they didn't get here due to a certain amount of snow here.
I've heard that there's a bit of snow up there, just a little.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. Well, there's over 2 feet.
A sprinkling.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to hearing an update on that, and just move the weight back just to see what difference that makes before you change anything else. And I was amazed when I moved the weight back in my NSR that it made it so much more drivable. It was the opposite of what I expected to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I will see. Oh, I forgot to say one other thing that I did is I lowered the bushings by using eccentric bushings in the rear. Just to try and see what it is, because most of the NSRs are like over 2 millimeters of height off the track, and that got it down to 1.8 by lowering it with the, contrary to what Chris Walker says that you should never use those. I got pretty free running axle in them, but it seemed to work there. So I'll see what happens.
Okay.
But thanks. Appreciate it.
Good deal. Paul's got his virtual hand up. What you want to ask about or share, Paul?
Are you guys building rotor tracks, and what are you using for braid? Because braid, Magna braid is no longer available. The reason I ask is my brother builds slot car tracks. He's up to about his 50th, and he's same business is booming at the moment. He's got 3 tracks to build, but he's having lots of trouble getting Magna braid. And one of the Mr. Slot Car down in Melbourne has now started to trying to find a manufacturer for the stuff. But I'm wondering, what are you guys running?
I have not heard of a new source for Magna braid. Most people just go with a regular braid and deal with the lack of magnetic pull. So maybe this video will get somebody out there to say, hey, I've got a source for Magna braid, and then we can talk about it next week. But I don't know.
If anybody knows the source, yep, let me know.
Yeah.
I've seen people actually cut pieces of thin steel like shim stock and actually put it down in the slot underneath the braid. in order to get some magnetic force, but it's a long way down then. So it's not as good as magnetic braid. But yeah, there's nobody that's making it anymore that we know of.
Good question for research.
Here's, let's bring this up the easy way. So that's his latest track.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Nice.
What's it? 20 foot by 8. By 6 foot. And most of his designs are like this, nice and free flowing, great tracks to race on.
And his customers want MagnaBraid, I assume.
Yeah, because a lot of the guys want their kids to be able to race.
Yeah. Well, that's what variable voltage is for. Crank it down to 3 volts, so it can race just fine. What were you saying, Jeremy?
Does MagnaBraid help that much? I've never heard it does.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, for magnet cars.
Yeah, it's about.
Yeah, I knew that's what it was for. I just didn't know how much downforce it pulled compared to.
About the same as Carrera. So if you.
Oh, is it really?
I mean, maybe a little less than Carrera, because Carrera is stainless steel, so their rails don't have as much. So you take the same car, you put it on Scalextric, and it's just going to suck down on there. You put that same car on Carrera track, and you can feel it pulling, but not as much as Scalextric. Put that same car on a MagnaBraid track, and it'll be a little less than Carrera, but nothing like Scalextric.
Cool.
So, I mean, it has an effect. It does its job. And you can always lower the car and add more magnets.
With and without, it's a huge difference.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and especially when you start lowering the magnets and lowering the motors and really getting it down there. And because it's a wood track, you can get a lot lower without having to worry about other issues. All right, well, hopefully we get an answer for you at some point soon, Paul. And Dewan, you've got your hand up. What's up?
Yeah, I had a couple of questions and a statement too. But let me get the basic question out. The color scheme for the controllers. Could somebody just give me the basic? Which one is brake? Which one is who knows the basic color schemes for the controllers?
Dennis.
White wire is positive power from the power supply to the controller. The black wire goes from the controller to the positive rail of the track. The red wire goes to the negative rail of the track and to the negative of the power supply. That's the standard, what's called positive polarity or common ground wiring. That is not the same as what Carrera and Scalextric use, but that's what all of us have used over the years.
If you're looking to make controller hookups for people to come with your standard 3-wire controllers, what I would suggest is, and Dennis is absolutely right, of course, if you're a diagram kind of person, Slot Car Corner has a great diagram, that goes with their controller stations. It's nice, red, black, white on this side, and then positive, negative from your power, and where they connect to which rails on your track. And that's the one that I followed to do hookups for my track, so I know that anybody can do it. So that's what I would recommend. I'll find a link to that and put it in the video description. If somebody else finds it first and puts it in the chat, that'd be fantastic. But I'll make sure it gets into the video description.
Yeah, I do have that.
Hey, Dewan,
I was just trying to verify a couple of things. Yeah.
Dewan, Professor Motors also got a really good diagram for that too.
Yeah, I mean, if you just Google slot car track wiring diagram, it's probably like the first one.
Okay, and the real gotcha is the danger of hooking it up the wrong way the impact on the controllers, and that's what I'm kind of concerned with, because one of the things I'm doing, I'm testing out, trying to determine the power track for the both the why am I drawing such a blank? The old power track for people in Chicago. Oh my goodness, why am I so blank?
For your plastic track that you're putting together?
Yeah, the plastic track, one of the plastic tracks. I'm trying to use the standard controller on the
Revell tracks or on the
not Revell. The Revell I have, but I want the other one.
Monogram.
Monogram. What can I cannot. I'm a total brain dead.
We've all been there.
And so I was just didn't want to know about the experimenting of which one to which, and if there was going to be an impact on that. If it's going to be able to short out the controller or
well, it depends on the type of controller that you've got, right?
Palmer's, these are going to be Palmer controllers.
If you're using Palmer resistor controllers, then there's quite a lot of experimenting you can do as long as you only have 2 wires connected at any one time. Because if you connect 2 wires up and you touch the 3rd one against its post and it starts making sparks, you know that it's wrong. Right.
Okay.
But as far as I can remember, the Monogram wiring and the Revell wiring were the same.
They were.
They follow the same convention.
Okay. I didn't realize that, so I'll double check. I'll start with that. That's my first question. I was contemplating or considering using separate power sources for each one of my lanes, and I know the pros and cons of doing that, and whether or not I want to put in call buttons for each lane versus the master. I have master power button, call button right now that kills the power to the whole everything. But, debating whether or not I should contemplate putting in the call button for each lane and power for each lane. Anybody have any pros and cons on that?
I just went through building all of my stuff, Dewan. I liked the 4-lane channel relay with race coordinator. It worked out really nice, and I can send you, if you want, I can send you all the links to everything I bought for this. It was actually pretty simple to do, but the 4-lane relay is nice just because it gives you more options. Like when somebody hits the joystick button, I use joystick buttons because those are used to being hit real hard, so you don't got to worry about somebody slamming it and breaking it. And then you can just replace the bottom part easily if it ever does break. But one person hits it and all 4 lanes stop, during a race if that's what's needed. But then also at the end of the race, it cuts power for, if you cross the finish line, it cuts power. So the car stops right where you have your start line. And then as the second car comes through, it cuts power after he finishes, and everybody keeps racing. It's just nice because then you don't got to go run around the track and go get your car, way down around the corner and stuff. But I recommend that. I'll send you those links, and it's sounds ridiculously good. Easy to wire.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. Okay, great.
I think I still have your email address. I'll try to send that out tomorrow.
Okay, sounds real good. And I do want to say that the comment, every week I learn and get something so useful out of this chat, like the suggestions you made on getting a separate text-to-speech engine to work with Race Coordinator. That was such a breeze. And now I'm writing a little script so that I can just put in a name and it automatically goes and generates everything for me. So this is, yeah, so it's phenomenal what we get out of this this chat each and every week.
That's awesome. In the side chat also, I put the links to old wheel. There's like a Fergie's place it used to be. That was the track wiring. I used that one because it's all kind of color coded for 4-lane. That made it a lot easier too.
Okay.
But good luck.
Yeah. Well, I have my currently wired for 4 lanes and with power taps and everything. And I use the slack car corner kits and everything. So, but I'm going to be, that's my test track. I'm going to be putting my final track in getting to start working on that now.
I kind of wanted to add an extension on your question about what happens if you connect a controller wrongly. And of course, Dennis was like, depends on the controller, because if you hook an electronic controller up incorrectly, it's most likely to cause damage to that controller. One of the most common things, and the main reason that our club switched to XLR hookups rather than 3-post hookups, is because the Professor Motor 2-knob, sensitivity and brake adjustment was the most popular controller, and if you hook it up backwards, you instantly burn that brake potentiometer out completely. And multiple people had to replace their brake pots multiple times, and it finally was suggested we should do a connection where you can't hook up incorrectly. And there's been a whole lot less damage to controllers after we made everybody install XLR jacks on their tracks, and I helped many people convert their controllers, basically chop off the alligator clips, put a male XLR on the ends of the wires and the female up, and then you end up with an adapter in case you go to a track that doesn't have XLR jacks. But every other time, plug it in, no broken controllers. So, but yeah, if you're just using resistor controllers, then, if you leave it hooked up long enough to damage it, then you're blind and deaf and have no sense of smell or...
I thought Slot Car Corner used to sell like a self-resetting fuse you put through there. Do they still have anything like that? Where like if you did hook it up backwards, that fuse would pop and then wouldn't reset until you took the load off?
Yeah, there's all kinds of ways to add protections to your system with fuses on input and output and self-resetting and replaceable and stuff like that. Some controllers, depending on how you set your controller hookups system up,
you'll see a smoke.
You'll either get the magic smoke, you'll release the genie from your electronic device, or something else. The genie's going to come out of something if you hook it up wrong. It's either going to be a popped fuse or a resettable fuse, or the magic smoke from the controller itself.
We use 3-prong household plugs.
Yeah, I mean, anything that will only let you plug it in one way that has 3 connectors will work just fine. XLR seems to be fairly popular, at least in my neck of the woods. I've seen in the UK, they use mains plugs, as they call them, that aren't in service anymore as mains plugs, like the old kind that they don't use anymore. Now they use those for their controller hookups. And
yeah, it's a very small one that they use there.
Yeah. So for the controllers, they use the big, bulky looking ones. Yep. Anything else, Dewan?
I'm good.
All righty. Next up, we got Mr. Bill. Well,
I just wanted to jump in while Dewan was up. It's 106 grams, the Munsters couch.
Okay.
There you go.
But it's also long, so I bet it's pretty forgiving to drive.
Yeah, well, that's not bad for that size of a car at all.
Yeah,
that's well done.
Well, mine's that's a lot less than those speed racer cars. I think I got it to 180 grams.
Wow.
Well, that's also one. Wasn't it
124?
Yeah,
124. Yeah,
yeah. With like a metal chassis or something.
I want to see those.
All right. Well, Dewan can show those in a little bit if he wants to. Bill, you've got your virtual hand up. What's up, Bill?
Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
All right. So this is a really, speaking of things catching fire or, shorting out or that sort of thing. So I've got 2 of the kit cars or whatever that, that came with the set, the Carrera set. And one of them might have rammed the other while they were both in ghost car mode. And it might have stressed the engine a little bit or the motor. It doesn't drive well anymore. And so I took the body off, and granted, I just don't know a heck of a lot about this stuff at this point. When I revved the power, or on the controller, I could see sparks coming through the motor pod. Now, do you normally see sparks through the motor pod when it's running? I didn't think it was a good sign.
No, not especially
All right.
if the lights are on. If you have the lights off, you might see a little bit, but if your lights are on and you can see bright
Oh
spots,
yeah.
no, that
Oh,
motor's screwed.
It definitely, and the thing actually did like, I think a grand total of about 68 laps. So, maybe died a little earlier than it should have. I don't know, just me spitballing, but yeah, I was pretty sure. So I figured it's now off the track permanently. So,
Was that the car that got pushed or that was doing the pushing?
It was the car that got pushed. So it was, I think it was just I had set him at different speeds and I think it just sat there and, pushed back against it. Basically it was driving slower than the car behind it. And that one just kind of, I guess, I don't know. But
I mean, it could also have been, an impact that knocked, one of the brushes in the motor loose, or, something got damaged inside the motor. It's rare, so it's likely that motor was already kind of poor tolerance and was gonna fail eventually.
Yeah.
They usually take a pretty big licking before they fail. But
it struck me as a little odd, but since since the body's over top of it all the time, I don't really know what it looks like yet until I know what's bad. But I mean, I could smell the electric smell right after. And so that was, hey, it's driving slower and it kind of smells a little burned up. So I know there's a problem. I want to make sure that I'm not just dealing with some bad brush or something else somewhere else that I'm missing. And that's normal,
You
So,
could
okay,
probably
cool.
replace the motor. Yeah, you could probably replace the motor, Bill. Yeah.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, I figured I'd just go out and get another motor for it. I mean, it's just silly. That's all.
It's a digital car, right?
Yep.
So at the very least, the first thing you want to do is not ever put that car on the track with that motor anymore.
Right.
And then nicely with Carrera Digital is you can just pop out the motor, unplug it from the chip. You don't really have to do any other work. And then just, if you get a motor that doesn't have the wires on it, you just move the wires over to the new motor and pop it back in. But yeah, it should be easy.
Yeah, I checked a couple of the motors out there and I'll just pick up another one. I mean, I think it's like $15-20. It's not anything crazy. But yeah, I mean, I've only launched this thing off the table a few times. I don't know why there could possibly be some trouble this early on. So, I'm not going to throw this completely back at the manufacturer. I would say that there's probably some user error or at least user ignorance involved here somewhere in the chain of events.
Well, hopefully the damaged motor has not caused any component damages on the chip. But once you replace the motor, if it doesn't run nice and smooth, then you can start suspecting chip damage, which is probably the result of motor damage. So hopefully you don't have to replace the chip.
That makes sense. Yeah. All right. Great. Well, thank you.
Sure thing. Anybody else got anything they want to ask about or talk about or swing back to? Yeah, maybe we'll just end the recording early. I don't know.
Can I share something?
Sure. Go ahead, John.
Okay. Can you see that?
Yep, that looks like your Discord.
Yeah, I just wanted to give people a feel and introduction. So basically, it's really nice. It doesn't cost any money for me or you guys. There's no advertising. And I could set up any kind of, these are all the text channels here. So I set something up called Introduce Yourself so we can become more familiar. And then, the general chat is where, like for you guys just joined tonight, which is nice. We have 14 people. And then like in the cars chat here with my Le Mans collection, I actually embedded some spreadsheets. So you can put any kind of files and links you want. And I made up all these different channels. We have a channel I just started tonight for Worldwide Slot Car Chat. We could talk about anything specific. And the other thing that's nice about it is, so it's not as structured as like slot form with the threads. It's more like a big section, but it's more like fluid. Like we would be hanging out in here theoretically and just start talking. It wouldn't be like a wait and see type of thing. And then the last thing is we could go into video chat. So up to 25 people could go into video chat and voice chat. They don't have to put the video. They could just do the voice. and we could just do impromptu talks and stuff. But I wanted just basically to have a place to talk to you guys. And of course, it's a light version of the worldwide slot car chat and slot forum. So,
so more kind of a real time stream of consciousness posting. And
more of a dynamic. And we could even watch the Le Mans movie with Steve Paul Newman. No, Steve McQueen.
No, Steve McQueen.
Yeah. So you could do a theater thing. It's really cool. It's really nice. And they have Discords for everything you could think of, video gaming, anything you could think of. And John's going to help me run it, John Kitt, and we already have some people joining. And let me get out of here. So you just click and you're out of there. And it's nice. You get direct message. It has built-in direct messaging. It has a lot. It's amazing. The only way they make money is they have something called Nitro. So you would get Nitro for $10 a month, and you'd be able to have animated emojis and some other special little thingies like that as a user. But as an owner of a Discord, it doesn't cost anything. And, if anybody wants, if you want one, Greg, for your own, for the worldwide chat, we could do that, or anybody. And then I have the links in here too. So I put the links for all John and we have this guy in here who's really interesting. I'm going to try and get him on here. He wrote 3 or 4 slot car books. His name is Carlos Tonzali. So he's pretty well done with that. And that's all I have to share on that. Thank you for letting me. So please join. Let's talk. And but this is not a substitution for what we're doing here, obviously.
Nope.
I don't want to step on anybody's toes.
No. I don't feel you.
John, I have to warn you though. Dewan was checking out those Batman and Robin figures behind you, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, he's a big bat. Well, here's one other thing. I don't know how well the picture, but when I did introduce myself, I want to show this next time. But the Wacky Racers. I don't know if you guys remember the Wacky Racers.
Oh yeah.
So I did 7, and I have ideas for 2 more, and then 2 I don't think I'll ever be able to do. But they just reissued these models. These models were a fortune, like $300, and they just reissued an NPC. So the only one they didn't reissue was the what is that called?
That's Peter Perfect's car. Right?
Yes, Peter Perfect. And then the missing in the middle is the creepy coach or
yeah, that's right. That was the one with the it almost looked like an Addams Family car.
Yeah. So these 3 right here, the Mean Machine, which is a really cool car, the Penelope Pit Stop, and the Peter Perfect are all vintage models I converted. And then this one here is I have even the little guys in there. If you could see them, the 7 Gangsters, the Bulletproof Bomb. That's a model by, they do all the old models. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Was it Pyro maybe?
Yeah, Pyro, thank you. And Pyro was also the paddy wagon you see back here. And then these other 3, 1, 2, and then the creepy guy that's missing are Funko Pops, Dorbs rides that I cut once again in 3 dimensions. So, but the only thing they're missing is the figures. I need to find a sculptor to help with the figures. I think I could do the cavemen for the Boulder Mobile. And I have a little chipmunk in there, whatever, beaver.
It was a beaver, yeah.
The beaver, yeah. So, but now, since they reissued the creepy, I'm not getting the right name of it, but the Monsters one, I have the figures from there, and I'm going to add, But look see, this is what I was talking about Pendle. Look at these white tires. Look how cool they are. That's from Pendle, and then they're in a big aluminum wheels that I'm able to make the knockoffs to fit in and stuff. The wire wheels, like the creepy one has different size wire wheels. So I love Pendle for having all that stuff. And then here, Dewan, here's some Black Beauty and 1960. That was a $300 model too, right, Dewan? The Aurora, and they reissued it. So I'll have to show you all that. I have a lot of Batmobile stuff.
Well, plenty of material for next week's show and tell then.
I know, there's lots. I'm sorry it took so much time tonight, guys.
Oh, no worries. We'll get through it eventually. And on that, I'm going to go ahead and end the chat because we're pretty much at our 2-hour mark. So as always, come and join a live chat because it's a lot of fun. Like and subscribe and comment and all that stuff. And everybody, bye.